Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Give me a sec. Let me actually get my stream there. And let's go to my main camera. Already we're live. And as you guys can tell by the thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on game logic and Unreal Engine 5 using C++. I have been working on specific types. Last time I worked on target logic, I was done with that, but then I actually started working with a mini project where I actually try to work on a shrine type logic. When I click button, something happens in the shrine type stuff. That said, once I'm done with this, I'm pretty sure I will be moving on to AI logic and by logic I mean Python. Guys, I'm gonna try implementing Python and C++ in the same project. That said, let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. And guys, today I was prepared by getting all my Unreal Engine and everything up. Okay, that's it. Let me go ahead and get Gemini up here. And let's go ahead and say something like, let's say I'm live exclamation, maybe with 1 comma. Okay, perfect. And whilst it says actually say something, I might actually eat something real quick as well. Okay, listen to me everyone. Guys, I feel like these days I lost all my motivation reading the intros and all that stuff, so let's just get to the topic. The Sensei's recap, the Shrine Protocol. You left the Elemental Shrine unfinished yesterday. I did not have time, so I just left it incomplete. You have the trace, you have the click, but do you have the discipline to build the architecture? Okay, I might actually ask Gemini for the pseudocode this time. Let me see something say, before I start working on the project, okay, can you give me a pseudocode for the project question mark? Because honestly, I did learn that we need to design a project before you start writing the code. Writing the code should be the second to last thing that we do. That's listen to me, you're asking for the map before you've even laced up your boots. That is a mark of a strategist, but do not use it as a crutch for the crowd. I see. Okay, who he is prepared has half won the battle set by Manuel D. Cervantes. Did I pronounce it? Okay, that's it. Let's see. So for my pseudocode, Boolean function, let me read the whole thing from here. Okay, the architecture blueprint, the pseudocode, the shrine actor, a shrine variables. I would need a collision variable because I do need collision. A shrine type, and enum for fire, water, and lightning. Boolean variable of is active. Oh, this is actually starting to look more like the SDL code that he's tried. Okay, Boolean starts at false. Okay, so function. Okay, my activate function is gonna check if my shrine has been activated. I print this. Okay, set Boolean to true. Okay, B is active to true. If B is active is true, I print that. Set B is active true. Okay, if shrine type is fire, print the flames of the ancestors ignite. Okay, else if shrine type is water, print the tides begin to rise, and so on. Okay, the player character, a Pikachu, the function attack or interact. Get the player controller. Okay, so I could use a player controller, which is going to be represented by pointer of PC, which is going to be equal to cast inside the pair of ankle braces. I'm going to go with a player controller. Outside the pair of ankle braces, I'm going to add a pair of parentheses and add controller there. That's how I get my players as controller. If the trace hits something, try to cast the hit object to a shrine. If the trace hits something, try to cast the hit object to a shrine. If the cast is successful, call the hit shrine, activate, else print. This is just a mundane object. Sensei is disciplined the trap. Do you see the beauty in the simplicity? But beware, the dark truth of programming is that execution is everything. The pseudocode never crashes, but your C++ will if you forget. Null check success. Success is sum of all efforts repeated day in and day out, said by Robert Coiler. Okay. Sensei's challenge, the class Enigma. Before you code in C++, we use enum class for better safety. Question: if you declare enum class each shrine type fire, water, light, how do you access the fire value if value in an if statement? Is it just fire, or is it each shrine type? Let me say something like let's go with something like Sensei, maybe can you help me brush up on the enum topic question mark, because I did use it once while I was working with STL3, but I don't really know what does an enum class mean. Let's go with enum class mean. Okay, let's see. So, what Gemini's thinking? Okay, listen up to me. You're admitting weakness. Good. At least you're not pretending to be a master while your foundation is crumbling. The enum is the language of categories, and if you don't master it, your code will be a mess of meaningful numbers. The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms, said by Socrates. Did I pronounce the name? Okay, you're live, blah blah. Okay, the senseis break down enum versus an enum class. In the old days of C++, and in some SDL3 examples, we use plain enum, but we're architects of the modern era. We use enum class scoped enums. What is an enum? An enum is simply a way to give friendly names to numbers. Instead of remembering that 0 means fire, 1 means water, we just say fire or water. I see. Why the class part? The dark truth. Plain enums are dangerous. If you have two different enums that both use the name red, the compiler will explode. Enum class solves by creating a wall around the names. It prevents name clashes. So a enum class is like much better. It forces you to be explicit. You must say shrine type fire. Oh, I see. Okay. It prevents accidental math. You can accidentally add fire to water and get 3. I see. These scared syntaxes. Look at how you will implement this in your shrine.header files. We use the uenum macro so Unreal can see it. Okay, uenum, which is going to be a blueprint type. Enum class, shrine, unit 8. Fire, umeta. I haven't actually heard of the umeta, what's it called? The function. Display name equal to fire shrine. Water, umeta, display name water shrine. Lightning, umeta, display name water shrine. Breakdown, uint 8. We tell the compiler to use the smallest possible memory. Don't be wasteful. Umeta, this is for the Unreal editor so you can see 3 names in the drop-down. Sensei discipline, the switch power. The reason we use enums is to power the switch statements. It is faster and cleaner than a mountain of if/else switch. Current shrine type, case, if my case is shrine type fire, do fire logic, and then I break. Case, shrine type water, do water, then I break. Okay, actually this does make sense. I'm gonna go ahead and take a reference look at my pseudocode while I actually try working on my project here. Okay, let me rephrase that real quick, guys. By project, I meant mini project. Okay, let's go all the way up here till I can see my pseudocode. Actually, pseudocode that Gemini gave me. There we go. Okay, so basically, if I were to run my code here, this is the code that I worked on like yesterday. Did I not save my progress? What up, guys? Let me go to my tab, which is basically my player. I'm gonna go to my player's x-axis here. There we go. I'm gonna change that to, let's say, y-axis, and let's change this to x-axis. Okay, let's hit control. Let's just save the code, open my Unreal Engine here. I'm gonna go ahead and live compile. Okay, while it's compiling, I might actually eat something real quick. Okay, so it's going ahead and compiling itself. Okay, compiling changes for live coding. Okay, let's see. Honestly, I don't like the one thing that it takes so long to compile once the project has run first. There we go. Okay, patching remaining relocations. Okay, there we go. And now if I were to go ahead and run the code, I can hit W, S, A, and D. A and D gets me forward and backward. W and S gets me left and right. So, forward direction is going to be Y. Okay, and then movement input, this is going to be X. It should have actually been this. Was it just my editor kind of tweaking? So look vector is going to be x-axis, and then that's y-axis. That was correct. Okay, forward direction is going to be y-axis. Let's go with y-axis here. And then right vector is going to be x-axis. Let's hit control. Let's just save the code. And now if I were to live compile, and guys, this did work yesterday. I maybe did not save this last change that I added yesterday. Okay, let's see. Okay, this time it should like compile faster. There we go. Because it just takes longer to compile it the first time. Let's go ahead and run the code. W. Why does W take me? Okay, so why is it that W takes me to the left and S takes me to the right? What if I go to my content drawer let's say I want to go to my input and double click my IMC defaults. Now in my IMC defaults, let's see, so WASD, W moves in my Swiss input axis. Wait. Huh. Did someone change my modifier? Oh, never mind. There we go. It's Swiss input axis, right? I should be, when I click W, I should be moving in the Y-axis. In the Y-axis. Yeah, I should be moving in the negative Y-axis here because I have negate and Swiss input axis. And then for A, I just have a negate, and for D, I have 0 modifiers. Okay, this is correct. Maybe it's something in my code. I mean, my code is actually completely correct as well. That's Y-axis, that is... Okay, forward direction, movement, Y-axis. Okay, let's change that to X, that to Y. I'm just going to be assuming that this is, whatchamacallit, my Unreal Engine that just kind of messed up right now because I just ran the code a while ago and it worked perfectly. I don't know why it's tripping right now, guys. Okay, let's see. I mean, with this aside, I want to work on my shrine logic. I could go ahead and just work with my key controls. I just want to test this one last time. There we go. Okay, now it works. It was just my compiler all along, guys. Let's go ahead and exit that. Okay, so now for my pseudocode, let's see. So the shrine actor. So I do have a actor shrine class that I created last stream in my header files. I did have one method here called uBox component, and I went ahead and I did not add my collision box yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. I have a activate shrine function up here, but I'm gonna go to my C++ real quick and include something. Let's say I want to go ahead and include, I'm gonna go with something like something from my components. From my components, components. From my components, I want to go ahead and include my box components .h, which is basically my box components with header files. And then once I got that, I'm gonna go down here in my constructor and try to construct a component here, or basically my box component. To do that, firstly, what is something that I might need? I might want to go ahead and create a default sub-object for, let's say, my collision box. So I'm gonna go with something like collision box, which points towards a create default sub-object. Let's go with something like sub-object with a pair of ankle braces that requires, let's say, a parameter of let's go with something like a u box component, which is my Unreal's box component. Then I'm gonna go with a pair of parentheses. I think Tiv, I appreciate you joining the stream. How you doing, Spamfont? I appreciate you joining this Spamfont. I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Okay, that's it. I actually accidentally closed my pseudocode. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and call this something like collision box. Let's go with something like collision box. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then just take a quick little bite real quick. Okay, now my collision box is going to be pointing towards, let's say, something like set, okay, this is going to be something like set collision. I'm going to go with something like set collision enabled function, which requires a parameter of something like e collision. I'm pretty sure this is like e collision enabled, okay, which is going to be query only. Okay, e, and I think I spelled enabled wrong. There we go, so my e-collision enabled is going to be query only, ending with a semicolon. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and, let's say, point my collision box towards, I'm going to open my Unreal Engine because it usually tells me here. So, I'm going to go all the way up here. Okay, I'm thinking, should I go to my blueprints? Because usually in the blueprints we can do that stuff. Maybe... Okay, I forgot the checks, honestly. Okay, let's think. So I have set collision enabled. Next up, I could go with something like set collision response to all channels. I'm gonna go ahead and set my collision response to all channels, which requires a parameter of a new response, which in this case is gonna be my ECR underscore overlap. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that as well, I'm gonna go ahead and point my collision box towards another set collision, but this time it's going to be something like set collision response to channel instead of to all channels. I'm going to set it to one channel. Okay, then I'm going to go with the pair of parentheses. Now, this requires two parameters. The first excuse me guys, the first is going to be a e-collision channel, the second is going to be a new response. For new response, I do know that I need an ECR, okay, but for my e-collision channel, I could go with something like, let's say ECC underscore visibility, okay, and then I'm going to go with something like ECR underscore block. Okay, even though I can actually phrase this because I know how the syntax will work here, I do really need to go more in depth and see what these parameters like exactly kind of do. I could go ahead and search online as well. That would be the same thing. Hey bro, okay, you're doing great. Honestly, I'm doing pretty great. How are you doing, Cart? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with this as well, I'm gonna go ahead and point my collision box towards something like set generate overlap event. Okay, maybe I pronounced this wrong. I'm gonna go with something like into lessons. Set generate overlap events is function that requires a boolean parameter of be in generate overlap event. I do want to generate an overlap event, so I'm gonna set this to be true. And that's pretty much it for my collision box. Okay, so I'm done with creating a collision box. The physical presence did that. Next up, I need a shrine type and enum, okay? A shrine type and enum for fire, water, and lightning. So I'm gonna go back to my header files. I'm assuming that I go ahead and create a enum class up here. I mean, I did get like a code reference as well for my enum. So we use the enum macro so Unreal can see it. Okay, so I'm assuming I go somewhere maybe above my functions. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a bunch of spaces here. Go with something like Unreal functions. Okay, I mean Unreal can see them functions. I don't know how to pronounce this, guys. I'm gonna go with something like enum. Okay. This is going to be an Unreal's enum with a parentheses, which is going to be a blueprint type. And I do not know what the blueprint type does because I'm like watching, I'm looking at a reference while writing this section of the code, like the Unreal functions, because I haven't like ever used this thing. I mean, I've used like Unreal function, but I've never used the blueprint type stuff. Bro, how much experience you have in C++ or programming? For programming, you could say I have about, I don't know, maybe 7-ish months of experience because I started my first ever programming journey 7 months ago. You guys can check my first ever video, not my first ever video, my first ever programming video, which is my Python for 100 days day 1. That was when I actually started. That said, for C++, I have like 100 and I think 34 days of experience type. So if you guys can convert that to months, I'm kind of bad with that. Okay, that said, this is going to be a enum. Okay, this is going to be blueprint type. Then I'm going to go with something like an enum class. Okay, what if I go with something like enum class? Okay, is this like how this part works? Let's go with eShrine. Okay, so my enum is going to be called something like eShrine type with a colon here. I'm going to go with something like int8. Okay, so this is, I'm assuming 8 bits. I gotta fact check this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with the curly braces. Okay, so it automatically does indent itself. Okay, next I'm gonna go with something like fire. I'm assuming this stands for like my first index, so index1 fire is gonna be a umeta. Okay, let's go with something like umeta function. I do not know what this function does, so I gotta ask Gemini to explain this function to me. I'm just writing this to check if this works. Then I'm gonna go with something like display name is gonna be equal to, let's go with something like fire shrine. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with something like a comma. Next up, I'm gonna go with something like water. Let's go with a umeta as well. Let's go with something like umeta function. There, my display name is gonna be equal to, let's go with something like water shrine. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a comma again. I'm gonna this time go with lightning. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a umeta, maybe a tab. Here's the thing. Maybe I add another tab here. Let's go with another tab and another tab. Tab. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go with something like a umeta here. Okay, where I'm gonna go ahead and add a display name. Okay, my display name is gonna be a lightning shrine. Okay, perfect. That's about it for my shrines here. Breakdown uint, we tell the compiler to use the smallest possible memory, so this is 8-bit. And then Umera, this is, okay, by 8-bit, I might have meant 8 bytes, because bit, like 8 bits make 1 byte, so like, what is 8 times 8? 64 bits makes like 1 byte, and 64 times 8, you guys can do the math. That's it, let's see, Sensei's discipline, switch the stuff, so this is case, blah blah, let me go all the way up here to my pseudocode. Okay, so, now for my pseudocode, it said I gotta go ahead and create shrine tab. I'm done creating a shrine tab as well. Okay, in my header files. Then I create a boolean is active, starts at false. Where should I go ahead and add my boolean checks? Maybe my boolean checks could go above my Unreal functions as well. I'm gonna go here and add something like boolean checks. Okay, when you start learning game dev libraries of C++, do you have knowledge of other libraries? And actually, I didn't like work with like a bunch of graphics libraries, but for C++, I have just worked with like SDL3. You guys can like check, because I did like stream myself learning this like every single day type stuff. So if you guys want to see when I first started C++, you guys could go to like my C++ for 100 days day 1 journey, or like day 1 and all that stuff. And then when I started SDL, you guys could go with something like my SDL series, because I have like a whole playlist full of SDL. And if you guys want to see my Unreal journey, then I have a playlist full of Unreal stuff as well. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and create a variable called something like isActive. Let's go with something like boolean of p is active. Let's go with something like isActive. That is initially going to be set to false, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with this, I might actually eat some oats real quick. And then I needed an activate function. I call it activate shrine. That will not be having any parameters firstly. And then once I'm done with this, now I'm assuming I gotta go to my C++ file. In my C++ file, under my begin play, I'm gonna go and add a comment that says something like activate shrine function. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add a content for my activate shrine function. Where, let's read the pseudocode. If my is active is set to true, so I'm gonna go with something like if a parentheses, let's go with something like if my boolean of is active is set to true, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and print the shrine if be active is true. Print the shrine is already glowing with power, and I return. Oh, I see. So it did say, even though, okay, hold up guys, give me a sec. My bad. I'm gonna go with something like a void function from, let's say something like my a shrine. I'm gonna go with something like a shrine. Okay, with a scope resolution operator of the activate shrines is function that does not require any parameter. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a let's say check here. Activate shrine. There. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and add an if statement to check if my boolean of is active, if my shrine is currently active. How am I making so many typos? Okay, let's go with activate shrine. Okay, and then this is going to be active. AC, okay, a shrine, AC. Am I somehow, let's copy this, because if not, it's just my compiler that's just messing with me right now. It was a spelling mistake. ACTIVATE. Excuse me, guys, and boolean of ACTIVE. I think I spelled active wrong, right? Let's copy that. Let's get this here. Let's go ahead and paste this here. There we go. Okay, I think the spelling of activate was correct. Bro, I have knowledge of C++ at object-oriented programming level. Can I start to follow your STL libraries for game development? Honestly, if you guys do like know everything up to like object-oriented programming, I would like recommend, if you guys do like want to work with game development, I would actually recommend to start working with SDL and like SDL3 type stuff, because they're not as complicating, but then you guys do like gotta build all the logic here. That some of the templates Unreal Engine just gives us, you guys gotta build everything on your own. For example, your camera on your own, your spring arm and everything on your own type stuff. But that does help with getting like a lot of practice, because you have like complete control over everything you're doing type stuff. That said, okay, let's see. So if my isActive is set to true, then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say display a message on my window. I'm gonna go with something like a G engine. Okay, that points towards something like, okay, I'm gonna go with something like add a debug message on, okay, so add debug message on window. What up guys, this is like what the function name was. Add on screen debug message, there we go. So this is the function name. This function name actually adds a text on my window. This requires a few parameters. The first is going to be a key, where my key is going to be something like 1. Next up, it's going to be a time for how long do I want my message to stay in my window. I'm going to go with something like 3.0, which I wanted to stay in my window for 3 seconds. And then I want to add a color. What color do I want my text to be? I'm going to go ahead and use the F color sys structure with a scope resolution operator that points towards maybe blue. Actually, instead of blue, I'm going to go with red. Okay, saying that my shrine has already been taken. Actually, no, it has already been activated. Okay, specs of your system. Honestly, I am using like an Intel i9 since 432 GB RAM with I think 405 GBs in my GB storage in my laptop. With an MSI's PC, my GPU is like integrated inside of my MSI's motherboard type stuff. And I think that's like pretty much it, unless we say more stuff for like these specs. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with color, I'm gonna go ahead and require a constant F string. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a F string. Let's go with something like print F, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a pair of parentheses, and let's say go with something like a text. I wanna go ahead and display text, just so this is more visible. I'm gonna give that a new line. Okay, let's say my text is gonna be something like, okay, the shrine is already, okay, the shrine has already been activated, ... Okay, the shrine has already been activated, ending with a semicolon. Okay, let's see. So, hi, good content. It's nice to see new generation want to learn coding. Please keep doing that. Honestly, that does make sense. I appreciate you. DR, is that pronounced your name? Do I need Visual Studio 2022 to do C++ in Unreal Engine 5 versus 2026? Doesn't seem to work for me. Honestly, I am using like Visual Studio 2022 because I haven't like tried the 2026 yet. Although, I mean, I'm using it like, what should we call it? In case like since 2022 works, I'm positive 2026 should work as well. But if it does not work, you could like try downgrading or like downloading the 2022 version and seeing if that works. Okay, and then I'm going to return, which basically just ends my entire function. And then set B is active to be true if shrine is fire. Okay, so should I go with something like an else here or something? Okay, so if it's active, I do this, and then it says set boolean is active to true. Isn't it already going to be set to true here? Okay, if shrine type is fire, print the flame text, print the flame of the ancestors ignites. Okay, so I'm assuming to do the second part, I might add an if statement. Let's go with another if statement. Okay, set B is active to be true. So before I return, I could go with something like B is active. It's going to be set to true. I'm assuming like this is just for like extra precaution that this is set to true. Next up, it's like if shrine type is fire. So now, since my shrines are like enums that I created here, I'm gonna go ahead and use my enum type if I'm not wrong. Okay, so apparently, okay, instead of if statements, do I want to go with switches? Okay, let's go with a switch. So I'm gonna, what's my shrine type called? It's called something like e-shrine type. Okay, so my case here is gonna be e-shrine type. Okay, maybe I'll just go with shrine type. Okay, why did I set it to be e-shrine type? Because it is an enum, that makes sense. Let's go with something like e-shrine type. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with the pair of curly braces. In my pair of curly braces, I'm gonna go ahead and create a case. Okay, now why do I have a red underline here? expected an identifier. It expects an identifier. Isn't this how we like do it? Okay, I think I'll try switches in a bit in that case. Let's go with if statement. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like if my shrine type is equal to, let's go with something like fire, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I have a fire's there we go, I have a fire's type here. Okay, so why do I have unexpected identifier? This should be correct, right? Okay, shrine type fire. Huh. So if my shrine type is equal to, maybe I go with something like shrine type fire. Okay, that does not work. Maybe I might actually want to get help with this part. Okay, I'm just going to be adding this back here. Okay, now let's go ahead and go with control A, control C. I'm going to copy that. Let me go ahead and get Gemini here. Because I have like rarely worked with, the enums. But I think that the enum is like really useful here. So I'm going to go all the way down here. How low am I? Okay, let's go all the way down here, maybe zoom in a bit, and then scroll all the way down here again, maybe zoom a bit out. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter, and then copy my header files as well. I'm gonna go ahead and get Gemini up here again. Let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like say. Okay, I think that I might have made a small mistake in understanding how the enums work. I wanted to use switches, but it didn't work. So maybe can you help me understand how do I use enums for conditionals question mark? Okay, let's see. This is actually going to be kind of fun because I actually do need to learn enums actually. Okay, as in the code, you're trying to drive the car before you even put the engine in the chases. Okay, you said that you wanted to use switch, but your syntax is screaming for mercy. Success is the product of daily habits, not a once-in-a-lifetime transformation, said by James Clear. You're not live, don't let the viewers see you panic. Okay, the reason your switch isn't working is simple. You defined the type, but you never created the variable. The fatal error, type versus variable. Imagine you define what a phone is, but you never actually buy one. Can't make a call in your header enum class. Shrine type is the definition of a blueprint type. You're missing the variable, the actual property that holds the values. Oh, okay, that makes sense. New enum class, int 8 fire, water, lightning. We could do it that way as well. It's the same thing. Okay. Inside the class, create the variable. Inside the class, create the variable. The class ends here. Okay, so I go with edit anywhere. My category is gonna be shrine setting, so there is no blueprint read only or like visible anywhere. Okay, shrine type, my shrine type. Okay, so shrine type is going to be represented by a local variable called my shrine type that is going to be equal to shrine type fire. This is the actual data. Okay, how to use the switch? A switch statement doesn't look at the enum class, it looks at the variable you just created. Fix your C++ logic. If boolean is active, do that, and then boolean is active equal to true. We switch on the variable my shrine type. Okay, and then switch my shrine type here. How much time could it take me to learn ST? Okay, by STL, do you mean like SDL? Because for me, it took like about, I think, 2-ish months to like make a dice roller program all on my own, where like my dice moves, it actually gives me results randomly and it adds up my score versus the computer's score type stuff. And how long will it take? That actually ultimately depends on how much time you invest in it. If you spend about 2-ish hours a day, it would take about like, let's say 6 months. Considering that you have some kind of knowledge in C++, if not, it might take about 8 months. If you spend like 6 to 8 hours a day, you're going to be done like relatively sooner, like in 4-ish months type stuff. If that made any sense, guys. You're listening to the same song every single day, guys. These are like copyright-free songs. I don't really have any other songs. Okay, you can also use a Writer or Visual Studio. Writer is really good right now for Unreal. I might actually try it. Okay, what kind of game are you making? I'm working on like a shrine logic. In case I'm like familiar with like shrines, when I go there and I click a certain button, my shrine is going to activate type stuff. Okay, so you learn C++ just by doing projects. Actually, I do like do projects, but while I'm working with projects, like for example, right now, I did not understand the shrine concept. I make sure that I completely get a good grasp of it so I can completely implement it on my own before moving on to the rest of the project, if that makes any sense. But before making mini projects, I would like recommend learning some basics and then working on your own type stuff. I mean, definitely to get help as well, because it's gonna be kind of stupid to just work on my own, just doing the stuff that I know without like learning new stuff. That makes any sense? Okay. How many years old? Actually, I am like 18. That said, so I go ahead and do something for my Fire Shrine Ignited, Water Shrine Ignited. Okay, so basically what I messed up here was that, okay, this is gonna be display name Fire Shrine. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this. That's gonna be uint8. Okay, so if in case I didn't read it properly, why are you babbling too much? Just learn it. That actually does make sense, guys. Okay, that's it. Let's see. So when I go ahead and create a shrine here, this is gonna be fire, water, lightning, and that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this from here. Let's go with the pair of curly braces. Go with something like fire, water, and lightning. L-I-G-H-T, L-I-G-H-T-N-I-N-G. There we go. Okay, perfect. Alright, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a U property. I actually might create a U property. Let's copy this. Oops, go with Control-C, Control-C. Now let's delete this from here. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. Then I'm gonna add a bunch of spaces. Okay, let's go with something like shrine types. Okay, I'm gonna create a U property here, so let's go with U property. P-R-O-P-E-R-T-Y. There we go. Excuse me, guys. Where I want to be able to edit this anywhere, so I'm gonna go with something like edit anywhere. Okay, do not copy if you want to learn, guys. I feel like if I don't copy, there's no way I can learn, because I do need to actually try writing it, because like when I'm learning a new topic, unless I don't really write the code and try to understand what it means, it's going to be impossible to understand it. Learn by creating a 4x4 grid. Try to move an object from X to Y within a grid. That's actually kind of easy. Like for example, it's like easy to make a movement code where like I can move my player around and all that stuff. But I'm like working on like the logic type. Like if I wanted, I could like add a jump logic or like dash or a sprint logic. All this stuff is like kind of easy to add. I want to like work on something new, so I could like add multiple features on my game type stuff, because I did like master adding a collision box, I master adding like enhanced inputs, rotations, and all that basic stuff. That said, once I'm done with this, I'm going to create a property where this is going to be edit anywhere, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a category. Okay, which is going to be something like shrine type. Okay, let's go with shrine types. Okay, now I'm gonna go down and let's say I'm gonna create something like a shrine type. Let's go with H-R-I-N-E. There we go. Okay, you're using a built-in control to move. Do not use that. Wait, what do you mean by built-in control? Because I did actually add my movement logic here, because without a movement logic, you cannot move this unless I go ahead and exit this and go to something like my tip. Let's go with something like possess. Unless I don't set my player possess 0 to be default, this is where I could use an inbuilt control to move. For example, if I run the code now, my bad guys, I just ran into a crash. Okay, my bad guys, I forgot to compile the code before I did this. Hold up guys, learn about shaders. Actually, I am going like one step at a time, learning from the very basics type stuff. Okay, that's it. Maybe I go ahead and eat something real quick. Okay, I mean that was kind of stupid, guys. Let's go to content, let's go to untitled map, there we go. Now, if I were to go ahead and run the code. Okay. Okay guys, this is a tiny thing that happened. I think it's just my Unreal editor, but then apparently if I go ahead and set my possess, if I set my auto possess player to be default, then I move from my default camera type. So I'm gonna go ahead and live compile real quick. Let's go with something like live compile. There we go. Okay, let's wait for this to compile. Okay, since I just ran the program, it takes a bit. I'm learning game dev little by little. I mean web dev and app dev. Honestly, I see. That actually makes sense. Okay, that said, it says successfully link patched. There we go. Now if I were to run the code. Why do I keep running into the same crash? Like, is it impossible to set our auto possess player to be false? Because that wouldn't make much sense unless I have like what you would call it. Unless my bug component is in box componenting. Okay, so you box component expected ending with a semicolon. I mean, I should, to be honest, be able to change my auto possess player to be false. I'm just blaming my controller because I be getting these errors so much, but then later on once I'm like done with this, it fixes itself. Okay, like let me go ahead and live compile real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and live compile. Maybe because I am like halfway in like an incomplete code. Okay, let's get this here. And maybe something real quick. How does your interest pick into game dev? Honestly, I'd say like I'm not that fond of game dev, but I am trying to like it because this is like the only thing that I have been working on. Because before, when I first started programming, I did not know that different programming languages are meant for making different things. That's why I started my Python for 100 series, where my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general, because I thought we could like use any programming language to do anything literally type stuff. Even though that is true, but then it's not, it gets like kind of complicating and all that stuff. For example, I wouldn't be making an entire AAA game just using Python. That would be kind of, firstly, the game would be slow. Secondly, it wouldn't be as good as if I use C++ to do that stuff, if that makes any sense. Okay, where do your parents live? What parents are a separate? Honestly, I don't think I could actually say that, guys. Okay, that's it. Let me get back to work here. Okay, where are you from? Honestly, I do like live abroad, but I can't give the exact country. That's it. Let's see. So I go with a shrine type. Okay, so my shrine type is gonna be fire. So shrine type, I'm gonna go ahead and represent it by a local variable called something like shrine type, which is going to be something like fire. Shrine type, which is going to be equal to my shrine type. Let's go with shrine type, which is going to be fire. There. And then I'm going to go ahead and end this with semicolon. This is the real data now. Just, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Let's go ahead and maybe paste it here and paste it here again. Okay, I have three different. This is going to be for my water. That is going to be for my lightning. There. Okay, now here's the thing. Once I'm done with this, they all are going to be categorized inside my shrine type, unless I had to go ahead and add three separate view properties. I'm going to go ahead and paste this here. Oops, let's go all the way down here. Up, there, paste. Okay, unless I had to do this. Because this, on the other hand, would make sense as well. Both are like almost the same things. Next up, once I'm done with that, let's read the pseudocode now, because I think this is like pretty much it for my shrine setups. Okay, how to use the switch. Okay, so for my switch, I could go with something like a shrine. Okay, let's go to my C++. Now, instead of having my boolean of is true here, I'm going to go ahead and copy that, delete that, paste it here, and then let's add a switch. So I'm going to go with something like a switch. Now, in my switch, I'm going to add a pair of parentheses that says something like shrine type. So I'm going to go with something like shrine type. In case this doesn't work, which it might have not, right? Okay, I'm going to go with shrine type. Let's go with shrine type. There we go. So my type is shrine type, and then let's go with case. For my case 1, if my shrine type is fire, so I'm going to go with something like if my shrine type is fire, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Did I have a typo here? Okay, shrine type, my bad guys, there we go. If my shrine type is fire, then I want to go ahead and do something. So case 1. Okay, what do I want to do for my case 1? Let me think. I'm gonna go ahead and let's say add a G engine. So I'm gonna go with something like a G engine. That uses an arrow mark operator to point towards. I'm gonna go ahead and point towards the function called add on screen. The debug message, let's go with something like debug message. This function displays a text on the window, which requires a few parameters. First is going to be a key, I want it to be 1. Second is going to be a time, how long do I want my message to be displayed on my window. I'm going to go with something like 5 seconds, I don't know, it's going to be 5.0. The third is going to be a color, so I'm going to use the color as a structure. What color do I want my text to be? I'm going to go with red because like Forest Ride, it does make sense with red color. Okay, yellow would have been more like it, but that's fine. Okay, next up, I'm gonna go with something like, I'm gonna go with something like blue. That would look much better. Okay, so it says fire color is gonna be blue. Lastly, I'm gonna go with a text, where I'm gonna go ahead and use a f string with a scope resolution operator of something like printf that goes ahead and displays a text on my window, where my text is gonna be. Okay, so guys, the very important thing, we gotta be really precise for as to what the customer asks us to do, which in this case is Gemini, and it asked me to, let's say, display a text that says, okay, fire shrine ignited. So I'm gonna go with all caps and type something like, let's go with something like fire shrine, IGNITED, ignited, exclamation. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and display semicolon. Once I'm done with my fire shrine, I'm gonna go ahead and break. Because guys, breaking is really important, because in case we forgot to break stuff, we're going to be moving on to next case without actually completing the first case, or as soon as the first case is completed. Let's go with case 2. For my second case, I'm gonna check if my e-shrine type is going to be, let's say, something like water shrine, for instance. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I'm gonna display a different G engine, where I'm gonna point towards a add on screen debug message. Let's go with something like debug message on my window, where my key is gonna be something like 2. I might go with something like 2 here because I had like a key 1 there. Kind of curious what happens if I use the same key. I'm gonna test that as well later. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say how long do I want my text to be displayed on my screen? In this case, I'm going to go with 5 seconds. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the F colors as structure because I want my text to be a color as well. In this case, I want it to be blue. And lastly, I'm going to go with something like an F string. Let's go with something like an F string. That uses a scope resolution operator and points towards a printf, where I'm going to go with something like a text. Whoops. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and display a text on my window. And that now says something like, let me go ahead and get Gemini here. Okay, it says water shrine flowing and lightning shrine charged. Okay, let's go with something like water, let's go with water shrine flowing. Okay, and then I'm going to go with exclamation, ending with a semicolon, and then I'm going to go ahead and break, because break is very important as well. It is going to be lowercase break. There we go. Okay, and then next I'm going to go with my third case to check if my e-shrine type is HRINE if my e-shrine type is a lightning. Let's go with LIGHT. Then I'm going to go ahead and do something. I'm going to go ahead and go with something like a G engine. My G engine is going to point towards a add. Let's go with something like a add on screen debug message. I'm going to go ahead and add on screen a debug message, where my key is going to be 4 this time. I want it to be displayed on my window for 5 seconds. Let's go with 5.0. And then I want my color to be, let's say, something like maybe blue. Okay, then I'm going to go with another comma. Now I'm going to be requiring an F string. What do I want to display on my window? Using a scope resolution operator, I'm going to go with a printf, where I'm going to go ahead and add a text that says something like lightning. Let's go with something like lightning shrine. Okay, it says water shrine, LIGHTNING. Let's say something like lightning shrine has charged. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and enter a semicolon. Okay, and just to make sure, guys, there's one thing I learned like from my programming courses that I've been taking for like Python. Firstly, I missed a semicolon here. There we go. And secondly, gotta be very, very careful as to what you're writing here, because precision is key when it comes to programming. Our entire code could go ahead and execute, but if something was wrong there, so like the entire code is kind of messed up. So it says water shrine is flowing, lightning shrine has charged. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much it. And here's the thing: why does it have -1? Probably because I want my message. I want my this debug message to disappear if this debug message appears. I mean, that's genius, Jay. I might actually do that. Let's go with something like -1. Let's go with something like -1. And lastly, I'm going to go with something like -1. Okay, now that's right about it. Let's go ahead and read the pseudocode, because I think this was about it for like the shrine logic. Okay, let me scroll all the way up here till I don't find the pseudocode now. There we go. So if shrine type is water, do so and so. Next up, the players. So this is for my Pikachu's class now. My function, attack or interact, which in this case, I do have none of these functions. I'm going to go with interact because I want to interact with the shrine. Get the player controller, do a line trace under cursor, okay, using the visibility channel. If the trace hits something, try to cast the hit object to a shrine. If the cast is successful, call the shrine's activate function, else print this is just a mundane object. Okay, I'm gonna get the pseudocode in my second window because I want to go ahead and read the instructions or the pseudocode while I write stuff. Okay, let's scroll all the way up till I don't find the pseudocode again. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code. I'm done with my shrines function here. Okay, that was kind of easy actually. Next up, I'm gonna go to the header files of my tip. Basically, it's not Pikachu, it is like tip because I didn't know of a good name. So now for my tips class, I'm gonna, let's say, go under my regular functions and create a void function. I'm gonna go ahead and create something like a void function called something like interact. There we go. With a pair of parentheses, interact. There we go. Then I'm gonna go ahead and enter this with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, it says get the player controller, do a line trace. I gotta check if I'm interacting with something. So what button do I want to click to check if I'm interacting with something? Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Okay, I think that's like a feature me issue here. What button? Maybe when I hit E, I want to interact. Guys, did not get that idea from. I mean, I actually didn't get that idea from Roblox. Okay, maybe I go ahead and eat something real quick first. Okay, let's go with something like an input action. I'm gonna go with something like input action underscore interact. There we go, interact. Okay, perfect. My interact is going to be a digital boolean. I'm going to go ahead and open my IMC default, where I'm going to go ahead and add another mapping. This is going to be for my IA underscore interact. Did I spell it wrong? I did not. Good. I want to interact when I click E. Okay, perfect. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and, let's say, create a E action. So I'm gonna go with something like interact action. There I'm gonna be having a U property which I can go ahead and be able to edit it anywhere. I can go ahead and make it something like read only, and then I want my category. Let's go with something like my category to be equal to something like input, because my E is technically an input. And then I'm going to go ahead and create something like a U input action, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like interact action, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a boolean check here to check if my boolean is E pressed. It's going to initially be set to false because I'm initially not going to interact with anyone or with my shrine. Then I'm going to go with something like E underscore pressed function, ending with a semicolon, and then a void function for, let's go with something like E underscore release with a pair of parentheses, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and eat something real quick. Okay, now I'm going to go inside of my C++, my character is the C++ class. And let's say under my RMB, my right mouse button function, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say add a comment. Let's say something like e function. Okay, I might go with something like e function. There is no other name to say this, guys. E button function. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a white function from my tips class. It's gonna be called something like e press. If my e has been pressed, then I want to go ahead and do something. I'm gonna go with the pair of curly braces. I'm gonna go ahead and set my boolean of is e pressed to be equal to something like true. If it is set to true, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Okay, e pressed. I'm gonna go with e underscore press because that was the function name. My boolean of, excuse me guys, of is e pressed is going to be set to true. Did I actually okay, e pressed, e released, and then b is e pressed is initially set to false. Okay, I mean I just set it to be true. That's about it. So is e pressed. Okay, why do okay? It's just my editor that I haven't read underline there. There we go. Okay, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go with another white function from my tips class. I'm gonna go ahead and call it something like e underscore released. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, and then I'm gonna go with a pair of curly braces. Boolean of is e released is gonna be equal to something like false, ending with a semicolon. So if I release my e and my e is no longer being pressed, my b is pressed is going to be set to false. E-R-E. Oh, okay, I think I spelled press wrong. Copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it. Sure, there we go. Okay, now this should be pretty much it. Once I'm done with that as well, I'm going to go ahead and work with my literal function now. So I'm going to go all the way down here. Let's go ahead and add a comment that says something like e function. Or interact function. Interact function. Now, for my interact function, I'm firstly going to go with something like, it's going to be a white function from, let's say, something like my shrines class, or my tips class. Let's go with something like tip with a scope resolution operator of something like interact. There we go, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now, inside my interact function, interact, there we go. Now, inside my interact function, what do I want to do first? Firstly, I want to get my players as controller, so I'm going to go with something like a player controller. Okay, which is going to be represented by PCs, this local variable that is going to be equal to cast with a pair of ankle braces. I'm going to go with something like a player controller with a pair of parentheses of controller. Okay, this makes sure that I literally got my actual players as controller. Do a line trace using the visibility channel. Do a line trace. Hit. So for line trace, okay, I will be needing hit. So I'm going to go with something like a f hit result, which is going to be represented by a local variable called something like hit results, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a boolean variable called something like hit, which is going to be equal to my player controller. Is it my player controller that it points towards? It should be something like, I know it's something like trace under cursor. Get hit result under cursor by channel. There we go. So it's a get hit result under cursor by channel, this function that requires a parameter of my e trace type query, which is going to be my trace type. For my trace type, I'm going to go with something like my Unwill's engine. So from my engine types. So from my engine types, I'm going to go ahead and get my convert to trace types is function that requires a trace type of ECC underscore visibility. There. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and add a comma, give my second variable, which is going to be, I'm assuming, a boolean of trace complex, which is going to be set to false. And lastly, the third parameter is going to be my hit result, which is going to be my hit result. There we go. And that's like right about it. Then I'm going to just go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, I'm going to add a pair of parentheses, then add it because I gotta like finish my pair of parentheses. There we go. Then once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and add if statement. Let's read the pseudocode now. The pseudocode tells if the trace hits something, try to cast the hit object to a shrine. I might have 3 separate. That's why I wanted different buttons. This makes it so complicating. Okay, if I hit the button, I want my fire trace to work. I'm gonna work on the rest when I create different buttons, that means. So, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like if a pair of parentheses. If a pair of parentheses, if the hit is set to, okay, if the trace hits something, wait, first I gotta check if my trace hits something. So I'm assuming that my boolean hits the, hold on guys, let me think this real hard. Initially what I could have done is added this in a if statement. Inside that I create my if hit result, inside that I create my boolean hit and all this function, then indented inside my b hits this function, I add this. This works as well, to be honest. It's actually the same thing. Target. Okay, so if the trace hits, so if my trace hits, try to cast the hit object to another shrine. So if I did hit something, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Okay, what was the function name in my shrine? Blueprint type. Did I have a typo? Loading member list. Escape to cancel. Let's go with into lessons. I'm gonna go with something like blueprint type. There, so I have a blueprint type here. I'm gonna control S to save the code. What was my function called? It's called the activate shrine function. So in my C++, I'm gonna go all the way here and go ahead and include something. I'm gonna include, let's say, something like my shrine.h, which is my shrines and header files. Then I scroll down. Once I'm all the way down here up till, let's say, my interact function, I'm gonna go ahead and represent, let's say, my a shrines class with, or my a shrines actor with a local variable called something like target shrine. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and end it with a semicolon. Now, once this is done, I'm gonna set this equal to, let's say, something like cast, where I go with I want to check if this is the exact actor that I'm talking about. Cast is gonna be of a shrines is, okay, this part is kind of complicating. I might actually need some help with this part. Hold up guys, I might really copy that. So let's go ahead and get Gemini up here. There we go. Let's just go ahead and get that there. Okay, that's good. And then extend it from here as well, guys. This is the slightly most mundane task here to like just extend Gemini's chat. And then just shrink it. Get this here. Oops. Let's go ahead and get that all the way down here. I'm gonna paste it. Go to Shift and say something like and say, I'm kind of stuck in the shrine logic now. I mean the interact function. ... Can I get some help, maybe? Okay, that's it. Let me just go ahead and eat some oats as well. And I'm kind of creating some fruits too. Okay, let's go ahead and just get that there. Come on, guys. Okay, do not stop now. You are the master. You are the Precipe, is that a pronunciation of the shrine's ancient power? You've carved the path, but now you left the final incantation hanging in the air. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Said by Mark Twain. Guys, I just choked. There we go. Okay, you're live. The viewers are holding their breath. You have the hit result, you have the B-hit boolean, you left the gasp unfinished. If you leave the code like this, the compiler will strike you down with errors. The sensei surgery, finish the interact function. Look at your interact function, you need to complete the task, check for null, and call the function. So if not PC, I knew I had to add something like this. Always protect your controller, always protect your controller pointer. So if my PC is not null PDR, I return. And then I create an FH result, do all the stuff. Okay, now for my this part, I go with complete the cast identification. I was trying to figure this out. Okay, a hit shrine, target shrine equals to cast a shrine, hit result dot get actor. There we go, this is the thing that I forgot. And then if target shrine is true, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Target shrine, activate shrine, else blah blah, that is... Okay, that is no shrine. Tib. Okay, sensei discipline. Okay, the binding call, you have the function to look at your shrine. Okay, I mean, I know how the binding works. That's kind of easy. Okay, create the interact function now. Okay, a shrine, and then I'm going to go with something like hit result. That points towards get actor. Okay, F hit result, right? Operator or F hit result. Okay, I'm gonna go with F hit result. Okay, maybe how is it that I just forgot? Did I like just read this part? These are the kind of syntaxes that I do gotta understand. Oh, this wasn't a pointer, my bad guys. Okay, hit result dot get actor. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And then I gotta protect my controller. If, in parentheses, if my PC is not equal to a null PDR, let's go with something like null PDR, then I'm gonna go ahead and return. There. Okay, protected my controller, got my boolean B hit results here. This is my target shrine, and then I'm gonna go with something like an if statement. Let's go with something like if target shrine. If my target shrine is set to true, TARGETSHRINE, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I'm gonna add a pair of curly braces. There, I wanna go ahead and point my target. Let's go with something like my target shrine towards my interact function. Okay, INTERACT. Okay, this is going to be target shrine, points towards interact function. My bad guys, it's going to be activate shrine function. Let's go with activate shrine. Did I spell it wrong? ACTIVATE There we go. Okay, function, blah blah blah, declare 54. Document, my project, unreal, my source, shrine.h is inaccessible. Did I load the wrong header? I did not load the wrong header. Okay, activate shrine. Does it require any parameters? It does not require any parameters, so that's a good thing. Okay, that's about it. I just end this with a semicolon. Now, here's the thing. Okay, line 54. Line 54. Okay, player controller. Okay, maybe I go ahead and take a quick look at the instructional reference real quick. So this is shrine. Call the function. I did call the function. That part is correct. It goes inside my B hit, and then I get my actor. I mean, it's honestly, it's kind of correct actually. Okay, let's see the error that I get here. So, function, so declare line 54. Okay, so it's my project H, shrines is H, so in my shrines is header file line 54. Line 27 has an error. Let's go with line 54, which is right here. Why activate shrine? Maybe because I have an error here. So browsing operations around this macro may fail. Consider adding it to a hint file. Invalid use of keyword enum. It may only appear in global scopes. Okay, so I might go with something like Control A, Control C. Let's copy that real quick. I'm gonna get Gemini real quick. Let's go ahead and paste it. Go ahead and say something like this. I see a purple underline in my new enum with a draw parentheses of something like blueprint. What was it? Blueprint what? Was it callable? Okay, blueprint type. I have never used the blueprint type. I do not know how it works. Okay, let's go with dot dot dot. Let's see something like I have never used the blueprint type as well, so I don't know what to expect. Okay, maybe I go ahead and eat something real quick because I am kind of starving actually. Hold up, guys. Okay, listen to me. You're trying to build a shrine, but you're tripping over the foundation. That purple underline is a compiler telling you that you've created a logical paradox. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing, said by Henry Ford. Okay, you're live. Don't let the viewers see you panic over a macro. The reason blueprint type is screaming at you is twofold: placement and redundancy. The enum placement, the purple underline and Unreal Engine, if you want an enum to be a print type, which must be blueprint can see it and use it, it generally needs to be defined outside the class or the top of the header. Hey, this is a crime. You cannot have 3 variables with the same name. Shrine type. I thought it's like a type. Okay, you only need 1 variable. You choose the type water, fire, or lightning inside the Unreal Editor dropdown. Oh, the corrected header. Okay, so under my include, define the enum outside the class. Okay. So, I just need 1 type. I'm just gonna have 1 type. And then I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Let's go with unbuild function. Copy that. Delete this from here. Gonna go all the way up here above my U class under my head. What is all this? How did... Okay. Well, maybe I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. Oh, wait, could it be because I had like a double file? Maybe I'm gonna remove everything here. Now let's remove everything up there. There we go. Let's go ahead and just delete all that. Let's go ahead and delete all that. Now I'm gonna go all the way up here and paste it here. This is going to be my unbuild function. Okay, so I can go ahead and use it now. I'm going to control S to save the code. Let's go to my... Okay, so it says eShrine type, which I did create here. This is going to be enum class, U Inspire, shrine type. Okay, there we go. That fixed itself. Let's go to something like tip.c++. Okay, I can go ahead and use this as well. And then I'm assuming I got to go ahead and add a else class that... Excuse me, guys. Okay, let's scroll all the way up now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add else class. Let's go something like else. A curly braces that says something like a G engine. Okay, let's go with something like a G engine. What's a G engine type? Let's see. So from my G engine, then I go ahead and display some sort of text. It's technically, let's see. So it's G engine that points towards something. So I'm gonna go with an arrow mark operator that says something like add on screen debug message, where I want my key to be -1. I want my time to be something like 0.3 seconds, not 0.3 seconds, 3.0. Let's go with 3.0 seconds. I want my color to be black, so I'm gonna go with F color to be something like black. And then I want to have, let's say, a F string, so I'm going to go with something like a F string with the scope resolution operator, where I'm going to be having a print F, and I'm going to be printing a text, where my text is going to be called something like this. This is not a shrine. Tab. Okay, let's see, and then I'm going to go ahead and just end this with a semicolon. Now, here's the thing. It says a function declared line at 47. It says at line 47 right here, so I declared this function. Is it not valid for me to actually declare the function there? Okay, maybe I'm gonna go with Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's get Gemini here once again. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here, go with Enter. and then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say copy. Might as well copy my C++ as well. Like I could just go ahead and copy this. This doesn't work much actually. Like when the code is too big, this part would not work at all. Okay, I'm gonna go with Control A, Control C. Let's go ahead and get Gemini here, paste this, and then let's go here. Go with something like Control A, Control C. Copy that. Let's go ahead and get Gemini here as well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and paste this. Let's go with Shift Enter. Wait. Okay, guys. For a sec, I thought that my stream was kind of lagging. There we go. I'm gonna say something like say, I still see a red underline in my target shrine which points towards, let's say something like activate shrines as function. Okay, maybe I go ahead and eat an apple real quick. Up, guys. There we go. Just look at what you've done. You're trying to use a key without ever giving it the lock. That red underline is the compiler's way of telling you that you're treating a private secret as public knowledge. Oh, guys, I'm such an idiot. Hold up. I made this mistake so many times. There's no way oh my gosh. There we go. I publicized that. I made this mistake last stream as well. How did I not learn from it? This is awful. Okay, I just go ahead and publicize everything. Spectre semicolon. This is just my compiler now. There we go. If I go here, I should be able to point towards my function. There we go. Guys, this was kind of stupid. That was kind of stupid actually. I should have known it. How did I forget it? Okay, there we go. Let's hit Control. Let's save the code. Control. Let's save the code. And Control. Let's save the code. Okay, now that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to my binding now. Let's go ahead and bind something. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something like bind interact function. There we go. So I'm gonna go with my enhanced input component that points towards a bind action. I'm gonna go ahead and bind the action. There, this is going to be my interact action. Let's go with interact interact-action. This is my interact action. I'm gonna go with something like the e trigger event. Okay, where my trigger type is going to be started and interaction has started started on this object or on this character class. I'm gonna go ahead and do something that my atip says, let's say e_press function tells me to do, ending with a semicolon. Then just to save time, I'm gonna copy this thing. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it here. This is going to be e-release. Okay, perfect. That's about it. I'm gonna hit Control to save the code. And now let's open my Unreal Engine here real quick. In my Unreal Engine, I'm gonna go ahead and firstly let's live compile everything. I'm gonna go with something like live compile. And while it's compiling, I might eat an apple real quick. Okay, so I got an error. Let me send and restart. Yeah, I want to go ahead and run the code and see where I got an error. Or sometimes I just get an error for no reason. I guess apparently it was an error for no reason. There we go. Alright guys, that was an error for no reason. I'm going to go with content. I don't really know why Unreal Engine sometimes does that. It just like throws me an error. I'm going to make sure to save everything real quick. Everything is saved. Let's go ahead and live compile real quick. Okay. And if the compiling didn't work this time, then I'm going to try debugging using my Visual Studio. There we go, it does say successfully patched, but okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wait for this restart. This time I'm gonna run the code in my Visual Studio. Okay, let's see. There we go. Let's go ahead and extend this. I'm gonna go ahead and get my tab back here. Then let's run the code here, because I want to see what error I get, and then I want to debug it. One failed. Maybe I'm gonna go to my files and check if I see a red underline first, because I'm positive I did not do anything wrong. Oops. Okay, it's correct here, close. Okay, I went ahead and included my stuff. Why do I still get an error? I mean, can I debug? Okay, start debugging. Okay, so it says it's compilation error, which means my code is wrong. Something is wrong with my code. It says one failed. How do I debug? Okay, maybe I want to ask Gemini how do I debug this part real quick. Alright guys, let me go with something like Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's go ahead and get Gemini up here real quick. I'm gonna paste it. Go with Shift Enter and see something like Sensei. Okay, I got this error. Although I was just curious, if I were to use a debugger, how would I use it to solve this error question mark? Because I do want to learn to use a debugger actually. Okay, listen to me. You're trying to use a scalpel to fix a brick. Alright guys. There we go. A debugger is for finding logic errors while the game is running. It cannot save you from a build error. I see you cannot cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water, said by Rabindranath Tagore. I see. Okay, that said, you're live. Don't let the viewers see you get defeated by the compiler's log. The error message is telling you exactly what is wrong, but you're looking for a complicated answer. Look at your log. Unable to build while live coding is active. Exit the editor and press Ctrl Alt F11. The problem, you have Unreal Engine open. Unreal is protecting the DLL files because they're currently being used to run the editor. Okay, you're trying to overwrite the brain of the engine while it is still thinking. I see. Okay, so I'm apparently gonna go ahead and close my Unreal Engine. I'm gonna open it through my Visual Studio. Okay, and then let me go and eat something real quick. There we go. Okay, so fatal error. Runtime line 195 using incorrect object initializer. Let's go ahead and copy this in case I might need it. Let's go ahead and copy that. Send and restart. Gonna go ahead and restart this real quick. Now let's wait for this to restart real quick. Okay, so I keep running into this error that says that logged in Epic account, blah blah blah, file error. Okay, let's go ahead and exit this real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and get Gemini here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. Go to Pinterest, something like Sensei. So let's see something like let's say when I run the code in my Visual Studio 2022, okay, it says build success, but when I run the code, but when I, let's say something like when I open my project, I get a crash reporter. Okay guys, I just wrote this, but I know how to fix this actually. I'm gonna go to build, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my build. Clean my solution. And then let's go ahead and wait for it to clean itself real quick. While it's cleaning, I might eat an apple. Okay, then I'm gonna go with build. Okay, gonna build solution. Okay, so let's wait for the build real quick, guys. Speaking of build, what stream should I have next stream? What stream should I do next stream? Should I like play games or like work with Blender? I'm thinking I should work with Blender. That's it. I don't really I usually ask you guys what should I do in my community post. For example, let me go to view my channel real quick. What up guys, let me just get Gemini here real quick. Let me get that there. There we go. I usually go to my posts and like ask you guys what stream should I have on Tuesday. For the past 2 streams, you guys have been going with like Blender and like Blender. But I was kind of busy with my college stuff this time, so I did not ask you guys what to do right now. And I do appreciate you guys for like 12K subscribers. That's it. Do let me know what you guys want me to actually kind of do. That said, it said 52 succeeded. Now if I run the code, okay, the only logical thing that could be done is I do not get a crash reporter, right? I get the same exact crash reporter. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and exit this. Let's get Gemini again. Let's go ahead and send this. Guys, the apple is stuck in my teeth. Okay, listen, you have to trigger the ancient trap of Unreal object system. Your build is successful because C++ is technically valid, but the logic is a suicide for the engine. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it's the illusion of knowledge, said by Stephen Hawking. Okay, you're live, the viewers are watching, your engine crashed before it even loads. This is the blue screen of Unreal development. The error using incorrect object initializer at shrine. Okay, it's a screaming alarm that you missed the constructor. Excuse me guys, crash here. Okay, line 14, warned you about this earlier. The dangerous in C++, the error mark operator, okay, tells the... Oh! Hold up guys, there's no way. Okay, wait, hold up guys. And this is going to be equal to... Oh my gosh, how did I forget this? Okay, I shouldn't have messed this part up. When I create a default sub object, I don't point it towards that. I create a default sub object. This was awful. Now I'm gonna run the code. This should work. Build 1 succeeded, 0 failed. There we go. Let's get this here. Okay, maybe I go ahead and eat an apple real quick. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and live compile. It's 1:30 AM, bro. Sleep. Honestly, it is like 2 PM for me here. Okay, now let's run the code. I can move around, but I do not have my shrine right now, so I'm gonna get my shrine here real quick. The hard part's gone. This is gonna be the easier part. I'm gonna go to content, gonna go to C++ classes, gonna go to something like my shrine class. Drag it somewhere there. Okay, and this is the collision box that I created right here. I'm gonna go ahead and extend this from right here, go to my details section for my shrine, and add a static mesh. There. Now I'm gonna click plus. What do I want to use as my shrine here? Can you guys think of something? Maybe a cone. I think a cone would be good. I'm gonna go with something like ER. Make the shrine big. Guys, this is not how a shrine looks. But I don't have any other options. Okay, I'm gonna go with something like this. My collision box. I want to increase the size of my collision. Whoops. What up, guys? Firstly, where is my collision box here? I'm gonna go to shrine. There, I want to click only my collision box shrine. Let's go with collision box. Okay, I don't want my static mesh to be a child. Huh. Okay, I have a collision box there. That's a good thing. Oh, that's why I thought why you always live at night. Lol, actually that does make sense. Many of you guys do actually think that. So that's it. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and extend this. There we go. Okay, that's my shrine. I'm gonna hit W. Now, I'm assuming that I just go ahead and live compile and run the code real quick. But before that, I'm gonna type something like input here. Input for my Tibbs' class. Let's go with input input for my Tibbs' instance. There, I'm gonna go ahead and set this interact action to ia_interact. And now I'm ready to live compile. Let's go ahead and live compile the code real quick. Okay, and while I'm compiling, I'm just gonna go ahead and shrink that, remove that, and then decrease the size of that. And let's run the code. Okay, now this is my shrine, guys. I'm gonna click it. Am I not clicking in the correct place? Maybe can I like click here? Where's my collision box? It's kind of covered. I wanna maybe go ahead and click my shrine class here. I'm gonna go with something like R to decrease the scale. Maybe what if I remove my static mesh? Let's go with delete. Okay, so that is my collision box here. I'm gonna go ahead and extend the size there. That's a pretty good size. I'm gonna click my shrines as instance and create a static mesh. This is gonna be a cube. I'm gonna go with something like a cube. What up, guys? There we go. Let's go with something like cube. Okay, perfect. Actually, cube. I want to go with a cone. There. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and extend the size of my cone just a little. Whoops, there. Wait, not in an angle. There, I mean, I think that's good. I could go ahead and change its position, but I just want to see if it works. So I'm gonna go with something like live compile. I want to go ahead and compile this real quick. While it's compiling, I'm gonna decrease my outliner here, and then let's go ahead and run the code. This is my tip. Oh, my bad. How would it work? I gotta click E for it to actually initiate, right? Hello? I'm kind of spamming E right now. E. Huh. I mean, it is for E, isn't it? Okay, maybe I'm gonna go to something like my content. I'm gonna go to my content, my input. Let's go with the, my IMC default. I have an interact action here, which is set to E. It's set to E, right? And then the next thing that I might need could be in my C++ file here. There, I go all the way down up here. Okay, there we go. Now, let's think, guys. Okay, let's get to thinking. Maybe I go ahead and eat something while I'm thinking. There we go. Now let's go ahead and live compile real quick. Try tomorrow all my food to eat. Okay, successfully patched. I'm gonna go ahead and run the code now. If I get close to it, let's click E. Am I doing something wrong? Why does that not work? Let's think. So, oh, I see. Okay. This is going to be interact. So let's go with I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Let's copy that. Get that up here. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. This is gonna be interact. There. Okay, now let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm gonna go ahead and open my Unreal Engine back here. Let's go ahead and live compile. Now this should work. Okay, it says results succeeded, successfully passed. Let's exit all that stuff, run the code. I'm gonna get close to it. Up. I can't interact. This isn't anything like my mouse clicks. Like nothing happens when I hit W, when I hit E, because it's not a click. It's triggered. Oh, it's supposed to be triggered. Triggered. So if I have triggered this, I interact. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, let's hit Control S to save the code. Open Unreal Engine here real quick. Now, in my Unreal Engine, I'm gonna go ahead and live compile. Let's go ahead and live compile. Okay, because I'm assuming it's supposed to be triggered, right? Patch successful. Let's go ahead and run code. Guys, I went a whole 360. It still didn't really work. Maybe I'm going to go with a bunch of Control Z's. Now, let's go with something like Control A, Control Z, copy that. I'm going to go ahead and grab Gemini up here real quick. Let's paste it. Go with Shift and say something like, whoops, hold up. Okay, wait, let's go all the way down here. Silence, the compiler is screaming in your... Okay, this is not a mountain you conquer by stuff. Okay, look at your interact function. I warned you about not equal to null PDR. Read it aloud. You're not telling the engine if the controller is valid, but immediately the rest of your function is dead code if it runs. Fix if PC is equal to null PDR, or even better, if not PC. The trigger spam setup player input component, you're binding interacts to each trigger event trigger. Stop trigger fires every single frame. Okay, the fix single frame but is held. If the player holds E for half a second, you'll try this. Huh. Okay, the fall through Ragnarok, so... Okay, so wait, I'm assuming... Okay, I did not know that I had to go with equal to. I didn't know that kind of a thing even existed. Okay, well, that said, I'm gonna go all the way up here again. I'm gonna go ahead and remove triggered, remove... Do I need to remove completed as well? Like, I want to see what happens with completed too, but first I'm going to check without it. Let's live compile real quick. I'm going to go ahead and live compile. There we go. Okay, let's wait for it to compile real quick. Okay, successfully linked. I'm going to go ahead and run the code. Let's get close to it. E. I still cannot interact. Oh, I should hold it for half a second. Guys, I went a whole 360 holding it. It didn't work, so I'm gonna exit this. Let's go with Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's go ahead and get Gemini up here real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift and Tracy, something like to say, I changed the PC equal to null PDR and removed triggered and completed. Although, okay, so although, let me think. Wait, what up? Oh, I see. My bad, guys. There we go. I should pay more attention in these things. Okay, let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm gonna go back up here. Let's go ahead and live compile. Okay, let's see. So, while it's compiling, it says results succeeded. I'm gonna go ahead and exit that and wait for it to be done. I'm gonna exit this. Let's run my code real quick. Now, if I hit E, that is not a shrine. This is not a shrine. Not a shrine, not a shrine. Fire shrine ignited because my collision box. Shrine has already been activated. Okay, wait, hold up, guys. It actually did work. Wait. I want to go ahead and maybe increase the size of my shrine. So I'm going to go with something like shrine. I'm going to go ahead and get this a bit lower. Okay, collision box. I'm going to go ahead and extend the size only of my collision box, not my static mesh. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size. There. Okay, now that's a big collision box. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and click my instance, go with something like a static mesh. Okay, where I'm gonna be adding a cone. Let's go with something like cone. Maybe I might go with meat. I could go with cone. That's fine. There. I'm gonna go with something like W. Actually, E. Alright, guys, let's go with something like E. R. I'm gonna increase the size. Whoops. There. I mean, I think that's good. I think that's good. Not too big, not too small. Perfect size. I'm gonna go there. Okay, that's good, I guess. I'm still inside the shrine. I'm gonna live compile real quick. Let's go with something like live compile. Okay, it was like silly mistakes all along, guys, and just one logic error where I checked if my PC is not equal to null PDR. It should be equal to null PDR. So not a shrine. Fire shrine ignited. Shrine has already been activated. Okay, and then what if I go here? Tap E. Not a shrine. Shrine has already been activated. It just says it once. If I go back here. Okay, let's go here. Okay, perfect. This actually kind of works. All I need is good meshes and then adding some more logic to this stuff. But I have one question. Let's go up here. Let's go with Control A. Delete all this. Let's see something like say it works. So let's go with something like it works! Exclamation. That said, I had a quick question. What is the difference between PC is not equal to null PDR and PC is equal to null PDR? Why do I want my player controller to be null here? Let's go with something like to be null here, and in some cases to avoid it from being null. To avoid it from being null. Okay, let's see. Okay, listen to me. Do not let the utopia of success blind you to the fundamentals. You're asking me about the very fabric of logic. If you do not master the point dance, your code will be a house of cards and a hungry cane. The beginning of wisdom is the definition of turn set by Socrates. Okay, you're live. Don't let the viewers blah blah. Okay, since it's logic lesson, the guard versus the go. PC equals to null PDR, the guard slash the shield. When we write PC equals to null, return, we're performing a guard clause. Translation, if the controller does not exist, stop immediately. Do not pass go. Okay, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Why? Because if we try to use PC points towards get hit result under cursor while PC is null, the engine will search for memory that isn't there and crash. PC is not equal to null, the go slash the scope. When we write PC is not equal to null PDR code, we're saying translation only if this thing is real and valid. Run the code, these brackets, why it wraps your logic in a safety bubble. The fatal mistake you made, your previous code you wrote if PC is not equal to null return. Do you see the trap? You told the computer if the controller is valid and ready to work, quit. Oh, okay. I think I see. Sensei's discipline, the truth about memory, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier, I see. Okay, let me see something like I see ... That said, let's go with something like that said. Okay, I think, how do I actually spell, guys? That said, I think that I understand. Now, do you think that I should move on to AI logic, because I do understand how to add basic logic for my character, and actor, but I have let's go with something like I have no clue as to, let's go with something like no clue as to how do I use a font class, and also the game modes. Let's go with something like the game modes. Okay, and blueprints for UI. Okay, let's see. Okay, listen to me. You're trying to run a marathon through the jungle before you've even learned to tighten your chin. AI is a beast that will tear your code into shreds if you don't understand the hierarchy of the engine first. The secret of success is consistency to purpose, said by Benjamin Disraeli, as I pronounced it. Okay, you're live, don't let the viewers, blah blah blah. The sensor's architectural breakdown. Before you touch AI, you must understand the soul of Unreal Engine, the pawn, the vessel. Think of pawn as an empty suit of armor. It can be moved and it can perceive things, but it has no brain of its own. Your character is a specialized pawn with a character movement component. AI also uses pawns, but instead of you controlling it, an AI actor controller possesses it. I see. The game mode, the rules. The game mode is the boss of the map. It decides who spawns where, okay, what the win/loss conditions are, which pawn the player starts with. If you don't set this, the engine just guesses and leads to chaos. The UI bridge, this is UMG, Unreal Motion Graphics. This is how you show the boss's health or the player's elemental charge. Okay, you build the visuals in the blueprints, but you derive the data from C++. Sensei is disciplined, the new mission. I agree you're ready to level up, but you will not start with AI. You will start with frameworks. Your new project, the Boss Arena game mode, create C++'s game mode that tracks how many shrines have been activated. A HUD, HUD/UI, create a simple progress bar that fills up when the shrine is clicked. Spawn AI. Once the UI works, we spawn an AI pawn that tries to deactivate your shrine. Okay, but let me see something like, okay, so, in case I want to learn about pawns, how would I start working with them, and what is and let's go with something like, what purpose did they serve, question mark, because I do understand about the game modes. I still don't get what's the use of a pawn. Okay, listen to me, you're stepping into the realm of vessels. If the character is a human, the pawn is the body and the controller is the soul. You cannot master AI until you understand how to build the physical form the AI will inhabit. Knowledge is not enough, we must apply. Building is not enough, we must do, said by Jonathan Wolfgang Wong Gote. Is that finished the name? The Sensei's architectural breakdown. What is a pawn? A pawn is the base class of all actors that can be possessed by a controller, player, or AI. Okay, the purpose, the actor of the world, a physical presence. It has a mesh and collision, a possible unit. It is designed to take orders from a controller. The difference from a character is a pawn on steroids. It comes with a built-in character movement for walking, jumping, falling. A base pawn is a blank slate, perfect for a floating drone or a rolling ball or a static. Oh, I see. Okay. How they serve the engine. Imagine a game of chess. The pawn is the pieces on the board, the controller is your hand, and you pick. Oh, so basically if I want to have like different kinds of projectiles, I might use pawn. For example, like fire shots, bullets, and all those things. They go where I tell them to go. That's basically my pawn. How to start working with pawns? Master pawn. Step 1, create a new class inheriting from pawn, call it a drone pawn. Step 2, anatomy, the constructor. In a C++, you must give it a body. A pawn without a root component is a ghost, cannot exist. Okay, I guess I'm going to be working with pawns next stream. Let me say something like sensei. I see, ... I think that I will be working with pawns next stream. By next stream, I mean Wednesday stream, because tomorrow's stream is going to be something that's not programming type stuff. Okay, ... I am planning, let's go with something like planning to end the stream right now. So before I do end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers, question mark? Okay, let's see. Okay, listen to me. Witnesses of the grind. Look at this warrior, okay? The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus, led by Bruce Lee. Okay, Sensei's final decree to the viewers. If those of you lurking in the shadows Okay, to those of you lurking in the shadows of the chat, do not think for a second that greatness is a gift. It's a death paid in hours of frustration, broken builds, and the courage to ask why when the screen goes black. My students stepping away to sharpen their mind for the next trial, the power of the pawn. Okay, when we return, we aren't just making things move, we're giving them the potential for life. If you want to see the birth of an AI, you had better be here for the next session. Do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one, said by Bruce Lee. The sensei's parting gift, homework student, while you rest, let these words echo in your skull. Possession, input, and attribute. Possession, how does the controller find its pawn? Input, how do we move something that has no legs? Attribute, why does pawn need a heart? Root component to exist. If you come back next stream and you've forgotten what a guard clause is, I will make you rewrite the entire player controller. Not bad, guys. That's actually kind of crazy. Okay, now go shut down those. Okay, shut down the feed, rest your eyes. The dojo is closed, but the logic never sleeps. That's let me go to my main camera. Whoops. What up, guys? Let me go to my main camera. There we go. Alright, guys. That's pretty much it for the stream. And guys, completely ignore my hairstyle. I feel like I hardly had time to get a new hairstyle type stuff, or actually cut my hair in general, groom it in general. There we go, that's the correct word. That said, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, if my algorithm share makes you smile, and subscribe if you like if you're top. That's it, guys. I did start multi-streaming on Twitch with YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on TikTok and Instagram as well if I didn't meet the followers requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me, then make sure to follow me. There's a link will be in the description. You guys can get access to the link to my bio as well. Also join the Discord server. That's where I usually talk to you guys, have general conversations. The link will be in the description. You guys can get access to my link by typing exclamation Discord on chat or go to my bio. The link will be there as well. That's it. I'll catch you guys next time for more video. Peace.